As everybody knows, my name is Olivia. I'm a group manager in doing practice performance manager with my team, and I'm here to help you to understand a little bit better how does the ARTAS Hair Studio, the iPad application, is useful for our consultations with our customers. Okay, how does the app help them to bring patients in? Okay, so far, how many of you are familiar with the iPad app, with the Hair Studio? Okay, all right. Okay, so everybody more or less. And can you or can someone share with me what is the feedback, the input that you have from your physicians using the ARTAS Hair Studio, positive or negative or so-so? Please, Anna.
I can tell you the first version.
Sorry, because I need something. I need a microphone. Just because we are recording this session for the people who is not here. So if you don't mind, thanks.
Oh, it's okay. The first system and the only one system we sold came not with the iPad, but with the tablet, okay? Table, and they were not happy with that.
With the Bio, with the Bio,
yes, with the Sony,
yeah,
yes.
That was the previous, right?
Yes,
some of you are familiar.
But it's something like 1 year ago, and it came with that, and the software was not friendly. They didn't like it, in fact. But now with the iPad, it's much easier. It is really useful for them.
Is it useful?
Yes,
so in this practice, are they using it constantly in order to convert?
They are starting because they were training in side making about 2 weeks ago. They really like it, and because of that, they started to use the Hair Studio. But they mentioned that it was there in the table because it was not friendly for them. It was not easy to use. But now with the iPad, they are really happy.
All right.
It is useful, and it's easy to use, and they can save time because the software of the previous one was
very tedious. Yes. We try to make it easier, and with the app and the iPad, it's way easier. I'm going to show you. I'm sure that you brought some iPads, but I'm going to show you something very practical and some tips and tricks that work for me. I'm going to be very quickly because we have another session and we are running a little bit late. If you have any other question besides, please grab me later and ask me directly one-to-one. We can do it together, all right? So usually, you know how does it look? This is the app, okay? I just click in the app, ARTAS Hair Studio. If someone has not it, please let me know, give me your email address, and we will make sure that we provide you access to download the app, okay? So I can do two things. I can have already models and pictures in my app, or I can just create and take photos. We will talk later a little bit how I recommend our users to do photos, to take pictures, because sometimes depending on how you take the photos, that's an impact in your final result, right? So it's important. So let's pick one of those patients. For example, this one. This is a real patient from a different country, so nobody knows him. Okay, and I have five photos as you can see of him. You know what? There is something that I don't really use, and is this icon here. I don't like to use when I do. I don't know if you guys agree from the clinical part to use the auto mirror sides, and the reason why is because we are not really symmetric, and then people, you struggle making the model, and people don't recognize their faces. Because we are not exactly, or if you have a nebus or something here, then you don't have it here, right? So it's something that I always don't like to have, okay? I deactivate, but it's my preference. You have it there, okay? Then, something that I want to make very clear. I do not personally struggle with the 3D model. To me, this is just a conversion tool in those clinics where I need it, okay? In some clinics, they are very good on conversion rates. I look at the numbers, I track everything with them, I sit down with them and I see how are their numbers looking like, and I said, okay, why am I going to interfere or to introduce a tool that maybe they don't really need? And if they are not so high-tech or so iPad friendly, why am, because it happens to us here in EMEA that sometimes we are like, just because we have the app, so we introduce it, and people, they just don't like it, or that happens mostly with the Surface or with the Bio, that they weren't so happy. But just keep in mind, this is just useful for those accounts where you find it, okay? So my 5 pictures, I have to fill in all these fields, correct? They are mandatory. I select the caliber of the hair and the hair loss that he presents, okay? Welcome. Please take a seat. Welcome, welcome. We were waiting for you. All right, and then, no, you can sit there if you like. You want to sit here? Perfect. So then I have just these 4 steps to follow. Easy. I'm in the first step where I load the photos, the pictures, and I go to the next one. As soon as I go to the next one, I have more or less my model. More or less. It could be much better, right? Because here he doesn't look. But you know what? I don't really care how does he look because I'm focusing on this. So I don't struggle. Of course, if I have the patient in front of me, I have to give him a nice 3D. But usually what I recommend in the clinic is that the assistant takes the photos, she does the model, and she comes back. So I don't have the doctor trying to make the 3D model, like, I don't know, it doesn't look nice, and he gets anxious, right? Or stressful. I just don't do it. I ask the assistant to do it for me and to bring it to me when I'm in this step. Let me clear this. I'm going to do when I'm here, okay? I can fix it. I will fix it, and I know how to do it. The more you practice, the better. It's like anything else. So if you look at this one, in this first picture, there is not any little face in yellow color. It's all of them are in blue. It's because the system already detected, or I just selected each landmark on each point, okay? But for example, in this one, I'm not very happy with this, right? How do I fix it? Very easy. I just click in features here, and I have some more options, some more lines. Okay, I make it bigger to make my life easier, and I bring more dots and lines if I need. Okay, I think this will be okay, but mainly the ones that I'm going to move are these ones in order to resolve these gaps. Okay, again, I don't really, I don't know, Didier, you have been using this for a long time maybe, and you have a better feedback. Do you guys recommend your customers to struggle or to play too much with, what's your experience with the hair studio? Didier, yes, what's your experience in your region?
We have people who love it, and we have people who hate it, so we don't
You don't push.
There been some comments saying that because Asian hair is thicker, so the system doesn't provide a real simulation of Asian hair. But again, so maybe because they don't know all the capabilities of it.
Well, it's easy to explain. For example, you know, you will refine some. Yeah, I understand that. You will refine some of the pictures, right? Like this. So he's going to start looking a little bit better. Nevertheless, again, I'm looking for this part, okay? And the most funny thing or the most interesting thing here is that they are, when they see their picture, they are very conscious on how big is their hair loss. That's, to me, that's the way of selling the procedure or where the ARTAS hair studio is useful, to me. Because when they see the picture, so my assistant comes in this moment, right? And he's like, oh, wow. This guy was like 20, you know, early 20s. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna look like my father in 10 years, right? And he was really concerned because for him the hair was a big thing. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do an approximation of what he would like to. So I'm going to select all these tools. Do you know what are these icons about? With this one, I just make like a patch, or I can do 2 individual ones. With this one, I select the direction of the hair. With this one, I go 1 step back. With this one, I delete everything. Those are different styles. Instead of doing manual the direction of the hair, you select one of these styles. And then this one allows you to increase the number of graphs that you're going to pretend that you're placing. 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, so it's increasing in 500s. And this one is the length, okay? I would recommend you, if you have that issue with the caliber, to make the hair a little bit longer for Asians, and always very dark, always very black. So it will give you an illusion of having it a little bit thicker, okay? Like I'm going to show you in this particular patient, right, where I'm going to just fill this in. I'm going to try this once. Okay, very little, just 1,000 is showing me not that much. I'm going to put it a little bit more. Okay, still not, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to do two different ones. Recessions ARTAS are usually kind of complicated. And I'm going to increase. You see the difference? More thicker, yeah? It gives the idea of feeling it, okay? And what I typically do, I take screenshots. Screenshots of the photos that I'm interested in. This is an example, okay? I'm just interested in showing him how bald he was in that region and what we can do for him. I'm not interested on showing him how nice is my app and how nice is the 3D model. I don't really care. Because what is my objective? That he goes into this ARTAS chair, not to show him how cool is this app, right? So now you can see I have the screenshots, okay? And my recommendation to consultants or to the people who does consultation and are not doctors, I don't go to the detail for this stuff. It's important that you know and you show your physicians that this is an option. Remember that in detail, what you have, okay, you know how many grafts do you have on each area, you can split the regions, you can do even a hairline, you can change directions, you can change angulations. So those things are too specific, way specific for people like us. We are not, well, I don't know if there is any doctor here, but we are not, well, you are a doctor, okay, but for physicians, we don't really go that far. If we are using this just as a consultation, okay? If they are doing their own consultation and they like to, because I also have physicians that they love it, I go and I explain them all, okay? And I explain this is the area, this is the direction, this is the density that you want to achieve, but I go more in depth. But my objective here is to convert you and have you sitting on the chair, okay? So I go to consultation, back again. And here I'm going to the last step after taking my screenshots. And the next step allows me, as you all know, probably, allows me to select the before and after pictures that I want to show and share with this potential patient. Okay, so I tap in the snapshots, and do you see this blue line? If I select it, I can write here like a quotation, let's say. If you go for 1,500 grafts, I will charge you like 9,000 euros. If you go just for 1,000, I charge you 8,000. Okay? If I don't want this picture, I just see. I have this one. Oh, sorry, I have this one selected and this one not. Okay? This is the way that you select before and after pictures, and you choose always the ones that you like better. Okay? The ones that makes you or your work to look better for your, I don't like this one, for your report, for your PDF, okay? So I selected the photos, and I go back to my previous screen, and I click just in report preview. Report preview, and this is a 2 pages, well, 2 pages because I just selected 4 photos, but if I select more, it gives me more pages. 2 pages of a PDF where I have my logo, my name, my clinic name. I have the date, the patient information, okay? Yes, this is a real patient with his name. And the consultation summary where I can discuss with him how is he going to look like with 1,500 versus 1,000 grafts. And I can discuss with him a small, medium, large case, depends if your physicians are quotating in single grafts or in regions, okay? This is very interesting because as well, you can email this, okay? You can share it. And something very important that I like to highlight, this is a simulation, and I always make it very clear, especially to patients. And I said, even if they don't speak English, because they say, no, I don't understand what is a simulation. Okay, that's fine. This is a simulation, and it is something that they cannot come back to my clinic and say, hey, this is what you promised me, okay? That's why we have that disclaimer. And it is important to highlight to the doctors, listen, this is not committing you to achieve this specific result. All right. Any questions so far? Good? I'm going very fast.
Fact,
yes, please.
Some of the clinics, can they change these disclaimers and some of the things in their own language? Or is it
The disclaimer, no, and something that I also requested. We, EMEA, Latin America, APAC, we need to submit complaints constantly in NetSuite saying, my doctor X, my doctor Y, my doctor W, complain about the hair studio not being in their own language. That's for sure, Didier, the only way to get these things translated.
But
I have
complaints and they still not translated. So
well, I have submitted lots of complaints for the ARTAS software that then they got translated into Portuguese, Spanish, German, and I used to have my team as well taking snapshots or photos of things that they don't make sense in the translation, and they submit complaints. And over time, when they release new versions, they try to. Okay. Honestly, I don't know what are the plans with the Hair Studio app, but I don't see it so difficult because it has not that much tests, right? Okay. Questions so far? Highlight something. When I'm done, if for any reason you forget something, how does it work, or an icon, what it is for, you always have this question mark here, and it's important to remind them. Well, I don't know if I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. Yes, no. Let's see if it goes through. If you are connected to internet, it will open a PDF as well with all the instructions, okay? You can also print it out or email it. See? I can open it in iBooks, or I can download it, I can email it, I can have it just for my own in the iPad, I can do it for them and they have it in the iBooks. Easy, okay? And these are 18 pages where it's showing everything. Okay? Oops, sorry. How to import the photos, all the things that we spoke about. Of course, it's in English there, but I think it's very intuitive. You know, you just see the pictures, even if you're not English speaker or fluent. All right? And now, just a couple of recommendations for you when you take the photos. I always, in the consultation room, or wherever they do the consultation, I ask them to have a nice solid background. I don't really care the color. The color doesn't really matter. Be careful with the glare, with the glass, with the light up there. And also I recommend them to have wheelchairs, not these static chairs. Why? Because when the patient is sitting, you can ask the patient just to flip like that, right? And it's easy. Do you guys see me? Just you move him with the wheels. It's easy, so he doesn't change. And the other thing that I always recommend is to have the person who is taking the photos at the same level, okay? And same distance. In order to keep the distance, I ask them to take a marker like this. You know, marker? Yeah, a pen, and make a mark on the floor, so they know where to place the chairs from one patient to another. And last thing, when I want to take the top photo, because I take the face, the left, the right, the back, and the top. I don't know if you guys remember, initially with the bio, we were struggling with the patients putting their faces in weird positions. Now I learned that works very nice with this app. I'm going to use you. Just to take your patient, and while he is or she is sitting, just take the picture from above. Easy, okay? And you don't struggle with anyone's neck. Okay? Questions so far? Thank you, Jung, for coming. I can answer any question if you have any, but I know that you know much more than I do. So, Thank you very much, everybody. If you have any question, please let me know. If you don't have access, please let me know. And if you want to do a simulation with any one of you, I'm more than happy to. Okay?